Baldomero Falcones Jacato is Chief Executive Officer of FCC, Spain's third biggest builder. Welcome to Countdown, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for your invitation.
What did you make of the cabinet that was announced? I mean, is this the right group of people to boost growth in Spain, to reduce unemployment, and to cut the budget deficit?
Well, I think so, because it's a very compact team. They have been working for many years together when they were in the opposition, and they have a large experience because, for instance, Cristóbal Montoro was the finance minister during a period of very complicated in '96 before Maastricht. Luis de Guindos was also in this cabinet as the Secretary of State. And I think this made a very compact team, and I think they are well prepared to face the crisis.
Mr. Rajoy has been scarce in his plans for the economy. What plans would you like to hear announced? Plans that would boost your industries, plans that would help business, that would encourage employment?
Well, I think there are some things that is very important to implement quickly. The first one is to finalize the labor reform. I think we need to increase flexibility in the labor market. The second, as you mentioned before, is to finalize the restructuration of the financial sector, especially in the saving banks. Then I think it's important to control the fiscal deficit. That means to reduce the public works. And finally, I think it's very important to develop a framework for entrepreneurship to create new companies. It's interesting to know that there are more than 100,000 companies in Spain that are exporting, but we need to develop new companies and then to reduce unemployment.
You touched on savings banks. I mean, on the wider issue of banks themselves, the government says it'll clean up the banking system. That was its pledge during the campaign. I mean, is the answer a bad bank to free lenders of toxic assets?
Well, in one way or in another, there will be something similar. I think that will be perhaps creating a new fund that will be buying the real estate asset in difficulties from the different banks. And at the same time, there will be a concentration, new mergers, especially between the saving banks. They were about over 45, now there are 15, but I think we are going to see more concentration in the sector.
Let's speak more closely about your company itself, sir. I mean, construction and cement are your key industries. Yes, you're expanding overseas. Yes, you're expanding into environmental services. How long is it going to take to turn around this construction industry in Spain? I mean, just categorize what sort of position it's in at the end of 2011.
Well, in our case, we are in three areas. It's infrastructure, we are also in renewable energy and environmental service. And more than 50% of our activity is overseas. But speaking about the construction in Spain, I think it will take at least 2 years to recover. I don't think we are going to see what it was in the booming moment in the country, but I think the companies, all the big companies, they make a strong restructuration and a big adjustment, and we are much more focused overseas now.
But talking about, you know, land prices is what most investors are worrying about. I mean, do banks have to be realistic in the provisioning of the actual value of land prices? Isn't that the key issue right now?
Well, I think they have a strong provision for this. The problem is that there is not a market, and then it's very difficult to say what could be the price. That's why I think we need time. I think one of the ideas that the government is working on is to have a special deduction, fiscal deduction, in terms of to buy new houses, you know. And I think this could make the market much more dynamic.
I just want to finish off with a question on Spain itself. Do you think Spain will avoid a bailout? Will Spain avoid going down the route of Ireland, Greece and Portugal?
I think so, clearly, because you mentioned that the public debt is 67% of the GDP, is one of the lowest in Europe. It's 20 points below the average in Europe. And I think this government is clearly committed to reduce the public deficit. And I think also at the same time, Europe is moving to create a new environment in which there will be financing and I think growth.
Thanks for joining us today. Baldomero Falcones, Chief Executive Officer of FCC.